Okay,
Hey.
so hi, good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon.
Thank you very much for,
Oh, you're quite welcome, and thank you for asking me.
yeah, I mean, it means a lot to me. I know you're pretty busy. Are you comfortable?
Very comfortable.
Okay, that's the most important thing with this interview. It's about getting information from you and be really thankful because you got a lot of good things to share, but also
Thank you.
that you pick up, that um, that I'm very interested and that you're comfortable. Like I guess I could say that about 10 more times, but that's the point to this, okay? With that being said, just who are you?
My name is Deborah Johnson, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker currently working for Tribal Health Consortium, which is one of the largest clinics in our area. We serve about 10,000 clients, and our department, which is behavioral health, is incredibly busy right now. As you can imagine, with all the government overlay and the budget issues, our referrals are coming in. During the pandemic, it quadrupled, and I'd say we're at that level right now. So I do psychotherapy, generally focus on mood disorders, major depression, bipolar, schizoaffective disorder. I work with also individuals that have schizophrenia, schizoaffective, bipolar type. And we also, all of us, because our clients are multifaceted, they come in with multiple issues. So many have sub- substance use disorders. So that's a part of what we focus on as well. And we do have SUD counselors in-house now, so that's gives our clients total support. Yeah, we can wrap them.
Beautiful. Wow. I'm feeling really great about this. You come with a wealth of knowledge and experience. I know that. Not just textbook, you've been there, done that. And so I know you have some time in the field. I kind of want to go back to the beginning and
Mhm.
ask you, where did it all start? Like, where did the idea of social work come to you?
Kind of an interesting story because I got what I thought was a calling to return to college um, to be a nurse. And I followed that and I went, I think it was 2 days later, and registered at one of the local junior colleges. And mind you, at that time, I don't have a high school diploma
Mhm.
or and a certificate, but I just enrolled for courses, and it was in my, let's see, third year second year of college. I had already been accepted into a nursing program, but I was working on the courses needed to enter that program when I gave a talk for one of the psych uh, professors in one of her uh, classes. There was about, I think, about 100 people in the class. And after that, she took me aside and said, "Do you know what you want to be when you grow up?" That was like 41 at the time. And I said, I thought I did, but I'm not so sure anymore because I realized I could be anything I wanted to be. And she said, "I think you should think about psychology or social work. I think you'd be very good." The talk that I did was how to work with someone who had a history of trauma.
Mhm.
So I thought about that. I talked to um, master's level ASW and LCSW, uh, PhDs in both sides, MFTs and LCSWs. And I decided social work was for me because of the focus. We look at the person in the environment and biopsychosocial assessment. We consider the biological, the psychological, and the social aspects that are affecting an individual. And I like that. So I switched, and I didn't go into I was due to go into nursing that next quarter. So instead, I went into social work the next quarter.
Hey, that's interesting. So, I mean, I don't have this. It wasn't a pre-written question, but did you have to kind of switch in and do extra classes or anything like that because of your change from the medical to the social work field or behavioral health?
Good question. Good question, because the four-year college I went to, Pacific Union College, has real high requirements. They require physiology, physics, chemistry, nutrition, and some other courses just for my bachelor's degree. So I'm heavy on the sciences, but they were required actually for my social work.
Yeah.
The only two courses that I took that weren't required was medical terminology and anatomy.
Okay.
But all of those courses, especially the sciences, have given me a deeper understanding of um, uh, body-mind connection and
Yeah.
how everything works together
Right.
and how the body works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing I just want to throw out there too is I really appreciate you talking about that when you went into school, you know, you didn't graduate from high school. So
Mhm.
you were starting from really from
Mhm.
A, and I think that from someone who has accomplished as much as you have, academically and through your career, that people can hear that and that can, be such an empowering statement. That you don't have to come from, oh, I just graduated from high school. My family's putting me through college, that particular type of background. As a matter of fact, right, we kind of want people who have had some challenges maybe in their past so that we can get in the dirt, down in the dirt with them, understand? Does that make sense to you?
Makes sense because it's empowering. I also taught in human services for 10 years at the local college. It was Yuba College then. And I would especially tell my students that I believe anybody can accomplish anything if they want to.
Right.
They never caught that I didn't have a high school diploma. I had, I don't know, I was a dance major. I had other units in my transcripts. Um, so when I signed my junior contract, which is okay, tells you what you need to graduate, that just wasn't on it. And I walked in my bachelor's, magna cum laude, and with honors from Pacific Union College. So,
Love that.
yeah.
Love that.
So anybody can succeed.
Right. Yeah. Because, not all of us, including myself, did graduate from high school. I got my GED right after my daughter was born.
Yeah.
And loved
Life.
college. Yeah. Right.
Life,
Life definitely
I have about a
happened.
year and a half's worth of high school because I was a homeless teen, not by my choice, but so my high school years were kind of chopped up
Right.
and yeah.
And that's where your experience probably came through, that where I was talking about being able to relate. Not to put anything against somebody who has had, one of those, textbook looking childhoods. I don't know if that exists,
Met
but
that person.
right.
Oh, very few, very few.
But definitely hardship and strength and getting there helps, I believe. I know I've really appreciated my LCSWs and the people who have a story to tell. I guess that would be, uh, so kind of, I know that you have had a lot of education. I just, for people who are interested in going past, we're in the bachelor's program right now, maybe what that looks like, the MSW to the LCSW and what ASW means. I've seen that quite a bit, but I haven't had the chance to actually, and what anything you'd like to speak to as far as the upper division or education.
Yeah, I encourage people to go on and get their masters in social work because we need a lot of more people in the field. Um, and I thought my master's was going to be really challenging, but my undergraduate program prepared me really well.
Okay. Okay.
And I was almost disappointed that it didn't challenge me. Yes, I
Okay.
was busy all the time, and there was midterms and finals and, all of that, and I did have to write a thesis, but, um, you you can then register with the board if that's what you want to be. If you want to be a therapist and go on and become licensed, with your master's, you can register with the Board of Behavioral Sciences and then work on your, it was 3,200 hours when I worked on my hours toward my licensure.
I think it's still that, but it'll be definitely something
Somewhere in there.
that
They've
I'll
changed.
hopefully be able to let you know.
Yeah, they've changed some stuff up,
Have
and
they?
I can't remember because at where I work, we've got some folks that doing different levels,
Okay.
doing either their bachelor's or their master's.
Got it. So the the ASW.
Associate social worker.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with SUD then.
No,
Okay, that's what I thought it might have something to
associate
do with it.
social worker. It's sort of a register. It says I'm registered with the board. They assign you a number, but it lets the world know that you're an associate, that you're not a full license,
Okay,
that you're
gotcha.
working on your hours, yeah, and that you're kind of you're an intern.
LCSW in training. That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I
It's just
really like that.
shorter. I mean, some of these titles are, you know.
Is that what is your titles? I mean, when you, not that I know that you don't like to concentrate on that, but when you hand your business card out, what does your name and your titles look like? Or do you
Well,
put them
just
down?
my name and, LCSW, licensed clinical social worker. And it's got my number on it. It must if you use that, it's just a legal thing. It lets somebody know that I am fully licensed.
Okay, perfect. So for the juicy part, um, how long have you been in this field? And tell me all of or as many as you can actually think of, um, what should I say, positions that you've played, the huge umbrella. I mean, that you're a great example of, the diversity within social work and what you can what you can do with that.
I graduated with my master's in 1999, so
Okay.
I've been in the field for 26 years. When I came out of my master's program, I worked for County Mental Health, and I worked there for 9 years. Um, and I set up a dual diagnosis program. I was team lead, so I led a team of originally 8, and then when I left, there was 14. So we were dealing with SMI, severe mental illness. That's county's niche in the link of services in any community. Oh goodness! And then I went from there to I've worked at Fort Street Project, which is residential substance abuse treatment program. We worked, I think most of our clients we were doing in custody drug treatment. So mostly a parole population, which was really interesting. I've worked a perinatal program, women and children and substance use setting. And then went on, I've got many years I've worked in two local clinics. I've been aboard MAT teams, which is medication assisted treatment for opioid dependency. I've been about 15 years in that arena. And then when I went over to Tribal Health, I've been there 6 years. The other clinic, I was there 9 years. Um, they were sold. I've worked at a number of settings. You asked me what was challenging, and it's interesting. What did I say? 4 or 5 programs. The doors have been locked. I've been, I called on, like when I worked at Fort Street, I got a call on my day off that says it was a budget issue, California budget or federal budget, I can't remember. the program was shutting down because we couldn't run. Our creditors weren't going to take vouchers from us, so they made the decision to shut the program, and that was concerning because when you're working a pro population,
Right.
I said, don't tell my clients I'll be there in 30 minutes, and I just literally grabbed my purse and went to work because that could have meant that some of my clients might have gone back to prison.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, they got, they were assigned 30 or 60 or 90 days in a treatment program, pre-release back into the community. So as you can imagine, and we had I think we had about 60 clients at the time. You imagine the chaos. You've got 60 clients, only so many phones, only so many workers trying to calm people and get on phones to parole agents, etc., and other facilities to see if we could find beds.
Yes. So to answer that question, when you had brought that up before, you were explaining about the Ford Street situation, because I know that there's been a lot of the hardship with the, so it was four programs in the very beginning that would set you up and we're going to be there forever.
Yep.
And then, some very little time there, it would shut down, doors could be shut. And so I'm so glad that you had said that, because that was, that's something that is not, or is still happens today, that we can see programs lose funding, for other nefarious or non-nefarious reasons that, even if you do your research, you could find
Because
it.
it's been my experience that there's not much warning. They don't say, oh, gee, we're struggling right now. That, you just don't know the financial situation oftentimes of an agency. And, even companies as big as when I worked for St. Helena, and I worked per diem at 2 intensive outpatient programs between my um, uh, bachelor's and master's program. And then I went to work with them a little after I worked for the county, and they shut their doors. And I was there 6 weeks. And
6 weeks.
6 weeks. And I
6 weeks.
got a phone call that said, we're shutting the program, the perinatal program. I was in another site working with clients, got a call and said, we're shutting our doors at 6 o'clock today. And I'm 30 minutes away. I live in a rural county. That's another aspect of social work. We are the poorest county, usually of the 58, or we rank in the top 5 of everything you don't want to rank in. So
here in Lake County, is that what you're speaking of? Yeah,
we have the most substance use, alcoholism, child poverty, child abuse.
That hits me.
Yeah, and the
Kind
most
of a personal
poverty.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we just rank in all those things that we would not like to rank in. And that has not changed since I became a social worker. So 26 years later, those numbers.
You're still fighting that good fight.
Those numbers have, we shift, in the top 5 somewhere, but they haven't dropped any lower.
I'm like, whoa here. The reason why is because I remember at the beginning of this interview, I said 15 minutes. We were not going to be able to fill it. We're working on 18 minutes, and I could sit here and talk to you forever. But I do want to just get anything you want to throw out there that you feel is anything of, utmost importance that I didn't cover, or that a little piece of nugget for the cohorts and the professors. And if not, that's okay. But I don't want to just, shut this down. But I know that they're probably going,
Take care of yourselves.
Don't take self-care.
Don't take your clients home with you. We don't fix people. We walk with them. We give them support. We teach. We can do many things, but we don't have magic wands. I have a wand at work, but it takes footwork. So take care of yourselves and don't take your clients home with you.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So
good luck, everybody.
Do you mind if I share our other relationship other than the fact that I'm interviewing
Mhm.
with you? So this woman has been my mentor, been there all my life. She has been my ground and my yogi, telling me to breathe. This is also Deborah Johnson, LCSW, and an amazing mother. I love you so much.
I
Thank you,
love you
Mom.
too, hon.
Thank you so much for doing
Thank you
this.
for, yeah, it's been a pleasure and an honor.
Thank you.